Hey guys, Fire here from InDepth Gaming, bringing you another game review. This time we're checking out ACL Pro Cornhole. This game is developed by, Farsight Studios and published by them as well. It released back on March 29th, 2023 for a price of $30. So let's talk a little bit about what this sports game is. If you've never played or know anything about Cornhole, or depending on where you might be located in the country, bags. It's a game where you basically throw, these hacky sack kind of bags, or bean bags, I guess, so to speak, from one end to the other end of boards.
Hello,
I
everyone.
think you're
We'd like
spaced
to
about
welcome you to
20 to 30
ACL.
feet apart. Trying to score them in a zone. So as you can see here, the way the game works is actually, it's pretty simple to play, but extremely challenging and a little clunky in the same sense. So you can use your left stick here to move your little aiming reticle, and then you can control your bags, like your angle with, basically it's hard to tell here because there's no real indicator other than looking at the blue line creating an arch on your screen to increase like the height your throw is, and then you can increase the spin of the bag with your left and right bumper, as well as you can adjust what end of the bag, whether it's the sticky side down or the slick side, is facing down when you throw. You can also kind of adjust where your guy's standing to kind of give you a little better angle, but the main premise of the game is pretty simplistic. You push down on the right stick, and then push up on the right stick when it's kind of in the right zone to throw your bag toward the board to try to score. Land a bag on the board is worth 1 point. Scoring a bag in the hole is worth 3. And this game works in a sense of cancellation style scoring. So if I score 3, they score 1, I only get 2 points. So there's a lot of strategy in how Cornhole kind of plays, where you strategically place where you're going to throw bags to either block other players or to set yourself up to score even more points. The best you can do in a round is 12 points in a round, and ultimately that you're wanting to try to be the first person to get to 21. Now, for this game, I really do feel that one of the most clunky things the game has going on is the controls within the game. Now, the controls to me don't give you a lot of options, so if we dive here into settings, for example, you have very bare basic controls, but no real opportunity to adjust or tweak anything to kind of suit to be more, user-friendly, or even have some accessibility options that the game could have. Like, instead of using my analog stick, why can't I just hit A to trigger the toggle, and then A again to stop the toggle? That, to me, would be something that would be nice, as well as the AI. If you notice, they kind of get very small blue reticles. And you have this gigantic blue landing reticle zone for where your bag may go. And from my experience from playing, it seems extremely unfair, but also frustrating that after playing this game for hours, I can't figure out at all how to change my circle on the board to try to have a much better system than the other players. Now, the game does have some different game modes, but it's not really too different. You can play a singles match where it's kind of what we're playing now, where it's one player versus another, and you play as many rounds as it takes until you score and hit that 21-point goal. Now, for me, I think there's some opportunities where they could have added some little bit of diversity into how Cornhole works and bags in general across the country. Now, anytime I've ever played Cornhole, and maybe the official pro rules are different, so ignore my ignorance as I don't really know the full details into those, and the game doesn't really teach you those fair details. As far as the tutorial or anything, the game doesn't really teach you how to play it whatsoever, but the way I've always learned to play bags or Cornhole is, if you're playing and you have to nail the score of 21 exactly. If you go over, you reset down to 15, and this game doesn't really seem to do that. It seems to just be the first player to hit that specific pointed goal will win, and for me that's definitely interesting as a different way I've ever played this game. It's definitely my first time playing the game on a console, and it's a unique experience with how it kind of works, but that's a whole different kind of etiquette than just
Final bag this
the
round
clunky
for Sam
playing
Finley.
mechanics of the game
This
for me,
right here
as
is
well
when
as
you
the
need to nail the
additional
airman.
little details. Like visually,
pro
it
is
looks
definitely
fine.
expecting more
Don't
there.
think anybody's looking for
Final
anything
bag this
insanely over
round
the
for
top.
Brandon
Like
Corwin.
the game looks sensibly realistic, and it
That's
plays
just
kind of the way
not
you would
very good.
expect. Outside of, I think
Back
the
off the
controls
board,
need
and we
some
have a
work.
wash this round.
Additionally,
On
like
to
your
round
environments
4.
you're playing in
Samantha Finley will
don't
be the
change
first
at all.
to
It's
play.
always the same court
Sam
that you're
Finley
playing
in the
on.
lead.
The same sponsors in the background.
Let that
Nothing
one get
seems
away
to
a
be unique to your playing session or experience. So to me, that's kind of a big miss in a
Right there
visual
on the
standpoint,
edge.
to where just a little
Throwing up a
variety in
block
the
in this
environment you're
situation
playing
may
in
get the
would
opponent
definitely
out of their
change
rhythm.
the experience of how you're playing. Now, you've seen me playing this for a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and forfeit out this match and show you a little bit of the other features in the game. Like I said, you can do quick play where you can play practice to kind of get better at the game. You can play singles or doubles with an AI partner. And you can set up and tweak things periodically, as well as there's a bracketed career system that honestly is extremely hard to get any type of place. I've played it a couple times now, and I can't manage to do any better than last place, just because I think of how the controls are in the game. You'll basically play about 3 to 4 matches, you'll get a placing, and then you'll have to play through the rest. And if you get disqualified, you still have to go in and boot up the other matches, just for the game to acknowledge that you didn't continue, and it kind of is like a little bit of a kick in the side, unfortunately, when it comes to, man, that was horrible, I didn't do good. Jab a knife in my side and just reiterate that. Now, you do have a couple other things in the game, such as abilities that you can unlock and upgrade. For me, maybe it helps increase your stuff, but it doesn't. I don't know why we're unlocking abilities in a cornhole game where it should be more control-based and not just little bits of abilities and things that you progressively unlock. You can also unlock other pros to play with, so additional people that you can use and work with, but for me, I don't really understand the point of them all because the game doesn't really tell you anything. Cosmetically, the only thing that you can really change is the bags that you're throwing. You can eventually unlock other ones while you're playing. You do start off with some. You can equip different ones, as you can see here, but it doesn't do anything for the game outside of the cosmetics, and to be honest, this is the best cosmetic feature in the entire game. And even to unlock things, you just have to play careers as other players, but you have to unlock them doing different things. And then there's some basic stats and different challenges that you can go at that might give you different backboards and bags, but it doesn't really change any of the effective layouts. Like, I wish I could customize some stuff, especially when you ask for a $30 price tag for a game and you don't deliver a lot of additional stuff in the game for players to really enjoy and experience. And honestly, it gets a little stale after you listen to the same narrator say the same, like, 10 different quotes or commentary items in the game while you're playing. But outside of that, guys, that's pretty much ACL Pro Cornhole. As far as an opinion of, like, do I recommend picking this game up? If you're a really big Cornhole fan, I recommend maybe picking this game up when it might be on sale, or maybe when some additional stuff is added for the game. At a $30 price point, it's honestly, it's a little steep for what's here in the game, and I would imagine that a lot of that price point for the game probably has to come into play when it comes to someone like the just different licensing things they had to coordinate to be able to even make this game happen. It's neat to see it happen in the game, but, for me, it's unfortunate that we just don't have more to do in the game, even cosmetically. Like, let me have some different boards, let me get some customization, let me design my own board, let me make my own character even, so I feel like I'm actually doing something. Just some basic stuff that I've seen in other sports games that are even cheaper than this one. The most extensive things that you really can do in this game is maybe going after the achievements, which a lot of them are extremely difficult to do and unlock, even with the controls the game has to offer. But outside of that, guys, that's kind of my thoughts on ACL Pro Cornhole or ACL Pro Bags, depends how you kind of look at it. But I know the game is Cornhole locally, and people know it as Bags where I live. Whatever you call it, that's kind of my thoughts on the game. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like down below. If you haven't already, I hope you consider subscribing for the channel. And you have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you next time.
2 bags left to throw for Alan Rockwell.